Have a little faith in the God within you. Have a little faith in your true self. There's a voice inside you that's always telling you, have a little faith in me. Have a little faith that I will do what is absolutely best for you at all times. If you let go of your ideas of how it should be, if you let go of your idea of control, that you're in control of something. Remember the Stow Good line, and they have a great song, Let Go or Be Dragged. And it says, feeling you're in charge here, it's a bloody curse. There's no need to hand crank the universe. It's on automatic, guys. It's all in the hands of that incredible spirit that we call God. You can call it anything you want, but it's still going to be in operation, and it's still going to be what the universe is and what we are. So we can have faith in that. We can have faith in the truth that sets us free. You know, this week I was blessed to have the opportunity to do a memorial service for someone. And when people are going through great change in their life, when there's these life transitions happening, you feel trapped sometimes by your emotions, by your feelings. You feel like you're never going to get out of that situation. I heard of a young person, another young person on the Cape who overdosed on drugs. I read the newspaper sometimes or see the news of the war going on in Ukraine and the incredible inhumanity, humanity's inhumanity to itself, to our brothers and sisters. And I ask myself, how can this still be happening in the world? And it seems like humankind is trapped in this cycle of endless violence and self-destruction. But it's not. Because the truth has set me free. And hopefully, if you're sitting here today, the truth has set you free. And if it hasn't, just wait 20 minutes. By the end of this message, the truth will have set you free. Jesus famously told his disciples this when he was about to be crucified. This whole situation happened because he was telling them, I'm going to go away. And they're like, well, how can we go with you? He says, you can't. But you will. Like, I'm going to go and I'm going to come back. But I'm going to come back in a different way than you expect. I'm going to come back in you. I'm going to go, I'm going to come. They're like, where is he going? Is he going to kill himself? It's like, they didn't understand the spiritual principle of going to spirit, of not being a body. We're so trapped in the idea that we are bodies. We're so trapped in this idea of separation. And we're looking for the answer where there is none. We're looking for the light in the darkness. The light shines away the darkness, my friends. And the truth shines away the confusion in our minds. And in every situation, when I get really upset and sad about this world or what's going on in this world, then I have to turn to the truth. I'm blessed because I'm in a marriage where somebody will often remind me what the truth is. And that is truly a blessing because I'm out of it like that. It just takes one statement of truth to remind me of my experience of truth. It takes one statement to remind me of everything that I've experienced along the way. So when Jesus came and he told this to his disciples, they hadn't had a lot of experience. They haven't had as much experience as you guys have had. So I'm going to have to say to you, you know the truth. The truth has set you free. Remember it. You know the truth. You know it conceptually. You know it in your mind, but you've also had a lot of experience of it. He was talking about the absolute truth of our being, our inherent divine nature. Throughout the centuries, men have attempted to confine that truth to limited concepts within dogma and doctrine instead of an ever-expanding discovery of who you are. It's not a concept, it's an experience. We forget about the new covenant. Later on, not too far later on, it was a statement that I read in Hebrews. When Paul was talking to the Hebrews, he had a revelation that God was speaking to him. And what the God of his being said to him was, I will put my laws into their minds and write it in their hearts. I will write the divine law in their hearts. In your heart and mind. You have to get it in your mind, this divine principle. In order to experience it, you have to have it in your mind and you have to experience it in your heart. Truth has to be recognized for what it is, for where it is, and how we can activate it in our lives. So, here we go. Charles Fillmore. The basic principle of truth is this. The mind of each individual may be consciously unified with divine mind through the indwelling Christ. There's the whole process for you. You got it? Your mind, it's so simple. People say, you sound like a walking, revealing word. I don't understand anything you say. I'm like, no, it's a word that's being revealed. It's being given to you in simple, understandable terms. Your mind has to be consciously unified with God's mind. Why is that? Because we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten that we're divine. But the only way is through the indwelling Christ. The indwelling Christ resides in your heart. It resides in every cell of your being. The indwelling Christ is there. You feel it when you meditate, when you pray, when you join together in sacred ceremony. You feel the indwelling Christ, don't you? Isn't that why we come together in sacred ceremony? Because we get in touch with that indwelling Christ. Immediately, what do we feel? Our mind is one with God. God, universal mind. No longer are my separate observations or concepts ruling my life. Now I'm guided by truth. And the truth is setting me free from all of my interpretations of the situation. We can get so trapped in our sadness. We can get so trapped in our situation. But it's really a moment of opportunity. It's a moment where we can turn to the truth. And quite often these things come up because it's forcing us to get back to truth. It's forcing us there. Why? Because we so long have gotten off the truth and we've gone all over the place. And we run smack dab into the world of darkness again. And what happens? We're forced to seek the light. We're forced to pray. It's a lot easier to pray first than to be forced into it. But it's true that there are times that we are shown what is needed for healing. It's coming up for healing. We always say that. This is coming up to show me where I need to be healed, where I need to heal, where I need to grow. It's coming up for a reason. And so I want to remember that the indwelling Christ is always there within me. And it's always showing me exactly what I need to hear in order to heal. So I want to break down this statement a little more. I want to unpack it a little more for you. Why is the mind of the individual so important? Because what we think we become. Consciously unifying our individual minds with the mind of God could be considered the most important task here on earth. Consciously, doing it on purpose. This is my purpose in life. Everybody's running around thinking, what is my purpose? Should I do this or should I do that? I'm clearing it up for you. Your purpose is to consciously unify your mind with the divine. Amen. Thank you, Bruce, who's had a lot of life experiences, who finally knows that every one of your life experiences leads you back to this single point, the point of contact with God or universal mind. Consciously allowing myself to remember who I am. It's the most powerful thing in the whole world. So what we think we become individually in our experience of the world. This is Buddha. What you think you become. Your thoughts become who you are, and it becomes your world. What we experience and how we experience it comes directly from what we think. That's the third principle of unity. I'm creating my experiences by what? The activity of my thinking, my feeling, my believing. I'm creating how I experience the world. So your thoughts individually are very important. That's why affirmative prayer is so important. So what is divine mind? Why is it important that I get my individual mind unified with divine mind? Well, in New Thought Christianity, it's another word for God. Divine mind. Universal mind. The source of all substance and the energy of love which rules the universe. Call it whatever you want, but it's an active, energetic experience. It is the inherent intelligence of the universe. It's in all things. It is the life force which animates us, which animates everything that we see. And of course, it's so much more that we cannot describe in words. So consciously unifying our mind with the mind of God, that's the most important thing we can do, because in truth, it's already one. We're the ones that have separated it. We've separated ourselves from God. Not in truth, but in our mind and therefore in our experience. And that's the thing that we need, or I need, to stop doing, separating myself, and use all that energy to unify myself. Unity. We're unifying ourselves. So when I unify myself with divine mind or with God, all of a sudden, all these other beautiful reflections of me are sitting here. All these other beautiful examples of God manifest in this world are sitting in front of me. They're in my life. Now my life is filled with good and only good, with love and only love. This is what I'm creating because this is my purpose. My purpose was to unify with the truth, to unify my mind back with the truth. So we know that we are divine in nature, but we are blocking our awareness of our divinity with all kinds of limited and I would call ludicrous concepts. A lot of ludicrous concepts come from separation. The necessity to judge, the necessity to sacrifice, the necessity for conflict and war, the necessity to self-medicate perhaps, the necessity for all the... It's all the justifications I have for all of my addictions. It comes from this idea of separation from my good when it's right here, right now. I don't have to seek it. I just need to find. We've stopped being seekers and we've become finders because it's right here, right now. We are interpreting our experience at that point from a perspective of separation. When we have blocked our awareness of our divinity with the world that we see and call that reality, we've blocked the awareness of our divinity. So we're in the perspective now of separation. And we consider it the real world. And the real world of love and only love, which is what we teach here, that becomes the illusion. That's why they call it incoherence. Your heart is not in coherence with your mind. I have to get back to something here. The way to consciously unify our mind with God's mind is greatly misunderstood. You cannot do it through the conceptual mind alone. A lot of people say, I've tried that affirmative prayer. I sat and said, I am a holy child of God. Prosperity is coming to me now. And on and on and on. I'm filling up their minds, their conceptual minds with affirming the truth. And nothing happened. I still have the same problems. I'm still in the same place. Or I've gotten, not very far. And the idea is that it can't just happen in your conceptual mind alone. It has to come from your experience, from your heart. Why? Because it's been proven that the heart gives the information to the brain. And so, through the heart, feeding the information to you, what you feel, and your deeper heart, the Christ within, which is the indwelling Christ, which is what Charles Fillmore spoke of, then you begin to have them working together. Your heart and your mind are now working together. And they call that in heart math coherence. Isn't that a great word? I love that. So there's a practice of getting in coherence, feeling and experiencing the coherence. And then you can share that coherence with another just by acknowledging that our hearts are connected. Our hearts are not separate. They're not just things beating in a separate body over there. We are energetically connected. And I want to get in coherence with you, not in separation. When you're in separation, that's why I call it incoherent. That you're incoherent. Your ideas don't make any sense to me. And you're going to really insist that that's what reality is. And I'm going to tell you again, the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free from that incoherent belief that you're separate. So, when we get into a coherent energy, then the divine mind can flow through us consciously and freely. The energy of love is flowing through us. And we know that we are in that divine nature when we're feeling coherent. We tend to interpret our experience from the point of, or the perspective of separation. And we call that perspective of separation real. And that's what I was set free from. Believing this was my only reality. My perception of the universe was reality. And you see it in the world playing out in a immense form that I never, ever expected. That everyone is saying that their version of reality is the truth. And you can go to 10 or 12 or 14 different places and meetings and talk to people, and they'll all have a different version of reality, a different version of truth. That's why only the ultimate truth of your experience is important. Yes, affirming the truth conceptually is very important, but having the experience is even more. You have to have that coherence of mind and heart, of having the information in your mind, but having the experience happening. You find that there's a vibration that happens that no matter what we believe in the outer world, no matter what we used to think from the perspective of separation, now we're feeling something that's unifying us. We're feeling, and this is, by the way, the healing of humanity that I'm offering everyone right now, is getting into a unification field of that energy of love and truth beyond our concepts, beyond our judgments of one another, beyond our limited ideas. When we are flowing together coherently, heart to heart and minds free, then we will find our unity. It's already there. We just need to discover it. We need to find it. We're attempting to understand ourselves and the universe from the perspective of separation, when everything is actually one. But think of it. Meditate on this. Go home. Really think about how often you spend your time coming from this standpoint of separation, of talking about people as if there's someone else outside of you, of acting as if there's someone else out there. That's just a reflection of who you think you are. That's why it's so amazing to me that there seems to be so much separation projected into the world now when I'm experiencing so much oneness. How could that be? How could that? That's a remnant. See, these are old thoughts. I was actually in that world, projecting that world, and now I feel that everything is one. How did that happen for me? I have to say it was a miracle. It happened through the grace of God. But it did happen. And I'm here to tell you that it can happen for you. If you just stop giving it value in your mind of seeing someone or something as separate from you. It has no value whatsoever. So it's time that you value the truth more than your own judgments. That's what set me free. Valuing the truth. And every time I get so upset because I don't want to let that judgment go. Why? Because I felt like that was keeping me safe. I didn't want to let that situation go because I thought that was keeping me safe. I didn't want to let that drink go because I thought that was keeping me safe. Didn't want to let that cigarette go or that drug go because I thought that was keeping me safe. I didn't want to let my old dogma or doctrine or theology go because I thought that was keeping me safe. What are those things? Addictions. I don't want to let my political views go and think there might be another view out there that's not the one that I'm having now. And so we tend to get very upset or angry when we have to let go of our addiction. If you're ever with an addict who's decided that they're finally going to go to rehab or whatever, man, they are so mad. Right? There was even a song, the woman singing, ain't going to go to rehab, no, no, no. What happened? Right? The addiction took over and she ended up succumbing to the addiction. So that's what you're protecting. You're protecting that which is hurting you most. And the answer is always let go and let God and cling to the truth. The truth is all around us. Now, I'm getting a little personal here, but I remember when my dad stopped drinking and how happy our family became and how he came back from rehab. When he came back, he had all of this spiritual energy. And I was blown away. I had to run to a Al-Anon meeting because I had to know what these 12 steps were all about. They saved my mom and they saved my dad. Al-Anon and AA. And so I had to run to see what these 12 steps were all about. And what I discovered is it's a spiritual recovery program. Somebody said, well, I went there to stop drinking, and what I found was they taught me how to live. I recovered my identity, my true identity, which I never knew. And I think that this is the same kind of thing. This is a spiritual recovery program, following the truth principles of unity. Following the truth principles of Jesus the Christ or any other master is a spiritual recovery program where we lay down our addiction to our thoughts, our addiction to our thinking, our addiction to who we think we are. But most of all, I've got to tell you, you're putting down your addiction to separation, your perspective on the world, your perceptions, which are being projected onto the world, you're letting those go. And you know that right now is the most important moment of your life because you're remembering your real purpose of unification of your mind with the mind of God. And it's so amazing to live there. It's so amazing. I won't say that I'm 100% consistent in living there, but I have so many reminders, so many loving reminders each and every day. This teaching of the truth truly comes in and sets me free over and over and over and over again. So this is the point where the truth can really literally set you free when you realize that the truth of God is all around us and within us, which was the lesson from last week. God is within us. Then we stop searching. We stop searching in the dark, trying to find the light. You know, a human being searching for God, it's like a fish trying to find the water. You're already in it. You're swimming in it, and it's moving through you. And it's your whole life, your whole environment. And you're trying to search somewhere else, and there's nowhere else. You are in God now. It's all around us and within us. So now we choose to consciously unify our individual minds through prayer, through meditation, through affirming the truth with each other, getting together in affirmation of the truth. And I think conscious, mindful living, of putting all this into practice in your life, that's going to be the easiest and I find the most fun way to let the truth set you free. Thanks, guys. I love you. Be free and be a blessing.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass., and visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.